Hello, I'm Fajli, the host of Empowered Women Show. A show designed to inspire, empower and raise your aspiration. I will be introducing inspirational women from the business world, from the community, from the media, fashion industry, women who have overcome many obstacles and barriers on their journey to success. Watch me on BEONTVUK. Assalamu alaikum. Good evening, everyone. Happy New Year. Welcome to the Empowered Women Show on BEONTVUK UK. And you're watching us live in Birmingham on BEONTVUK UK. Now, if you haven't subscribed to BEONTVUK UK, please do subscribe, like, and share. I'm your host, Fajli Bibi, and on this show, I bring women from all over the world, remarkable women who are so inspirational, and they share their remarkable journey. And show is designed to inspire, empower and raise aspirations. If you would like to join the show or ask any questions to guest or to myself, you can contact us on 0121 257 7007. Well, today I have one of the most inspirational women I know. She is a very close friend of mine. She is truly extraordinary. She's a powerhouse in politics, champion for women's empowerment, and also a trailblazer in leadership. She has served as a Member of Parliament for Aldridge Brown Hill since 2015 for the Conservative Party and has taken many key roles, senior roles within Parliament. She was the Assistant Whip, the Parliamentary Under Secretary of Justice, Parliamentary Under Secretary for Europe, Neighbourhoods and Americas, Parliamentary Under Secretary for Transport. It's a very long list. Minister of State for Transport, Parliamentary Secretary to the Treasury, was his Chief Whip for the House of Commons. And now she serves as Shadow Minister for the Foreign Affairs. She brings a wealth of experience in this challenging role. It's an honour and a privilege to welcome Wendy Morton MP on Empowered Women Show. Wendy, welcome to our show.
Thank you, Fajli, and I think actually the pleasure is mine. I'm very honoured and pleasure to be here this evening.
Thank you. I know you've got an inspirational journey, you've been through so much, but give us an introduction to what motivated you to go into politics.
Right, so, if you'd said me, Fajli, 25 years ago, when do you be a Member of Parliament, I would have laughed at you and said no. So I never set out to become a Member of Parliament, let alone to have been at the government. But what happened was, I was happily working, but I was watching what was going on in my local community, and a member of the Conservative Party, it's my husband, and there was a local council election, and they were looking candidate, and said, Wendy, will you put your name forward? And in true Wendy style at the time, like, no, I just don't think I can do it. And a bit of sort of gentle encouragement, and I said, yes, I will do it, because I felt we needed young voices on the council at the time, and there were things luckily that I felt really strongly about. I was working in business. I knew what our business had gone through to get to where it was.
Because you were a businesswoman, but weren't you?
Yes, so I started in the diplomatic service years ago. Then I went into private sector, and my husband and I set up a small business using the enterprise allowance scheme, which was £40 a week in the day. And I remember us thinking, when that stopped at the end of the first year, how were we going to manage? So I worked elsewhere as well in the private sector. So, all those factors have encouraged me to stand for election. I was very lucky and I won by 4 votes.
4 votes?
4 votes. So I will never ever, forget what it felt like that night to win. It was at a time when our party wasn't winning very much. So then I got on the council, got stuck in and found actually, often you feel like if you do, you're damned if you don't, but you can make a difference, often in small ways for your local community. And then someone said, what about taking it to the next level? And again, I'm not sure about this. And I went to do my parliamentary assessment board, which is like a test that you have to do. And the night before, I bailed out of it. And I said, I can't do this. I can't possibly do this. And then there were 2 ladies from our party who rang me and said, Wendy, just on the train, come and do it and you can decide what to do. So it wasn't for those 2 women I would never have had the confidence to go and do my assessment board. I would never have had the chance to run for Parliament.
Who are these women?
One of them is a lady, Leslie Taylor, and there is, she's now in the House of Lords, Baroness Trish Morris.
Oh, wow.
So I owe them an awful lot. But then it has been a journey. You know, I wasn't successful the first time, I wasn't successful the second, it took me 3 attempts. So my advice to anybody is it's a tough game, it's a tough world, but sometimes you just got to keep going. You have to believe in yourself. And I think that's why I'm keen to do my bit to help encourage others.
Fantastic. So it's wonderful to hear that there were other women inspiring and pushing you forward, because one of the main key reasons for this show is about women supporting and building each other up. And it's great to see that you've had 2 women supporting you and pushing you forward.
Sometimes we don't do it enough, do we?
No. Well, I have this saying, that women are women's best friend, but women can be women's worst enemy.
Exactly.
And I'm sure you've met a lot of the women.
It's true. That's why we have to keep working together. Work isn't done yet.
I know. So tell us a bit about your childhood.
Yeah. So in my I just had what I would describe as a normal, ordinary childhood. So my dad was a farmer. My mum was, back in the day, mum stayed at home. She looked after my sister. She then became a home carer. I went to the local primary school, went to the local secondary school, left school at 18 and didn't go to university. So I went straight into work. I had applied to join the Foreign Office. It was what I wanted to do, and got in. And so I did that for a few years.
You worked in the Foreign Office,
I worked,
and now you're a minister.
I was a minister. And actually, there's 1 or 2 people who I joined with are still there. So in between time, I did an awful lot, went into the private sector. And I think the thing about what I do in politics is I'm very fortunate to have got a family that really support me, and I think you do need that. I think women often need that. Men need support in the workplace. Women do as well.
Absolutely. And as a female going into business, how easy was that?
So it's my husband that's the electrics whiz, not me. But my background then is more in marketing. So I then, alongside working, I decided that I want to get a qualification. I'd not gone to university, so I went to the Open University to get my MBA. So I did a lot of the marketing side of things. He's the electronic genius. But I think what I found is, and there's a similarity to many business sector politics, industries are very, very male-dominated. But and that can bring its challenges. I mean, Parliament was once upon a time seen as a gentleman's club. Some maybe still think that it is. But, you know, you just therefore have to keep working at it and just power, really.
Well, you've just come to my next question, to where I'm actually looking at. But, you know, Parliament is still male-dominated, right? And what challenges did you face as a woman entering this field? And how did you deal with it?
What challenges? So I suppose you've also got, as a candidate, you've got to get through the selection process before you get to Westminster. I think for me, I'm the 431st female MP.
Oh, wow.
So if you think, it was really 1918 and the Representation of People Act that gave women the vote, more women started to apply and become MPs. Prior to that, believe it or not, women had hidden ventilator shafts. They'd sneak into Parliament to just listen and watch what was going on. It seems a world away from where we are now. So they were the trailblazers. And since then, even in our party, we have had a lot of work to get more women to come forward, to stand for Parliament. David Cameron, a big difference.
Yes.
I think he made it feel more welcoming. I certainly felt that was a game changer for me. Organisations in our party, Women to Win, the Conservative Women's Organisation, the other parties have similar organisations there to encourage and support women coming forward. And I believe all of that, and we've got to continue doing it, because sometimes, you know, after the election we just had last year, in some ways lost a lot of good women, have to rebuild again. But Parliament is at its best, is it not? When it's diverse in every way, shape, form. Absolutely. Not just gender, but background and experience and age and absolutely everything. So that's why, you know, I'm keen to, you know, I mentor a few candidates, help where I can. And it's that, I think, is the best way of breaking down some of the barriers. But I think Parliament's changed a lot, so it's a bit more of a, I've described it as more friendly folks now. The hours are better than they used to be, but there's still quite tough days. Always more that you can do. But the other thing I feel really strongly about is I do want to be given a position because I'm a woman. I do not want to go to a selection that's a women shortlist. I do believe in meritocracy.
Yeah.
I want to see the best women get through.
Absolutely.
And so that's something that I feel really strongly about as well.
You mentioned about women giving lives to vote. And there are lots of women out there who are watching and, you know, they don't vote. And I do feel that it is a shame because so many women gave their lives for our rights to vote. What else would you like to say to them?
I think you're right. It's been a journey for women in politics. And in many ways, the UK has really been at the front. You know, we were in our party, we had the first female prime minister. We've had a couple more since then, but it took.
So you had 3 prime ministers, female prime ministers.
Labour have money. It took until 2022 for a female chief whip in our party. So we're still breaking some of those ceilings.
And you were that female.
That was it.
You were the first female chief
so
for the House of Commons.
For our party,
Yeah.
for the Conservatives. So there's those that we still need to keep working on.
Do you think that it's changing?
Parliament, I do. I think, but there's still more work to be done. I think sometimes women are put by Parliament and politics. You know, sometimes it seems a bit yabby politics. You get stories in the press that show Parliament and politics not a great light. I think that can put women off. I think sometimes maybe the hours put women off. But if you think it's not just a journey about how many women in Parliament. And there's, you know, I do subscribe to the aspiration of a 50-50 Parliament based merit. But having women in Parliament in a democracy, I believe, helps with the debate. It means that I think we talk about topics that maybe a male-only Parliament wouldn't. Some of the women's health topics. In Parliament, we have debated the menopause. We debate issues around pregnancy and fertility. Issues that probably would have been taboo many years ago. But those are issues that affect men as well.
Yeah.
And there are male issues equally sometimes need to be discussed as well. So I think that's what women can bring. But if you look then more broadly at democracy and politics, women have got a role to play in the whole women, peace and security agenda. So I think it's important that women are always at the table.
Yes. Who was your inspiration?
So if I said one, probably wasn't one main person. My granddad actually wasn't under the Conservative Party. His politics were slightly different than mine. But Granddad stood up for the working man. He was never elected, but he was quite a formidable force. He was a JP where he lived. So people often said, Wendy, Granddad would be spinning in his grave if he saw what you were doing. No. Granddad would be proud because he's what he believed in and I stood up for what I believe in. But then along the way there have been other people who have helped and supported. My local MP was William Hague, but Theresa May, I think, was another real trailblazer.
Oh, she was.
For
She's
women.
inspiration.
She still is, and you know, she's in the House of Lords now. She's still doing so much work on modern slavery,
Women empowerment as well.
Yeah. So she's a great role model, I think, and she just gets on stoically and does job. For some people, they'll say Margaret Thatcher. I did meet the Baroness on a couple of occasions. So you know, she was again a great role model. So there's been different people along the way, but we touched on David Cameron, and I think some of the work that David Cameron did made me feel actually the Conservative Party is that church that I believe in, and that I was then ready to put my name forward and give it a go.
He was one of my favourite prime ministers, actually.
Yeah.
But
I do like Boris as well, you know. So
Boris is like a marmite, right?
It's always another of my real favourites.
He's like a marmite. People either love him or hate him.
They do.
It's like Trump at the moment.
Yeah.
Some people like him, some people hate him.
Some people say you need politicians who have charisma.
Yeah.
You certainly need to be able to connect people.
Yeah.
I think now more than ever, politics is about policy, absolutely. It's about values, but it's about people. You know, you have to be able to walk around the supermarket and not mind if somebody stops you.
Do you think Boris will be back?
Who knows? I don't know. I'm just reading his book at the moment.
I haven't read his book yet.
Right.
But when are you writing yours?
I haven't decided yet. I haven't finished yet, so I haven't finished my political career.
So when you do write your book, I want you to come and launch here.
Okay.
And empower women.
Okay.
So you mentioned about you were a whip. That must have been a very demanding role. What involve?
So being a chief is demanding. Basically, you are responsible for making sure the government of the day's business, if you're in government, goes through the House, at the House of Commons. So that's the big part of the job. So it is. I had a team of whips that worked with me. So it's a lot of connecting with all of the MPs in the party, understanding how they feel, their views are, to make sure that the legislation that the Prime Minister of the day wants to take through will go through. It's no good trying to push a piece of legislation through if your party doesn't want it or doesn't like it. So it's a lot of that, an element of pastoral work, an element of discipline. But you know, it's one of the few departments you work in where there's a real team feel, because you have to work really closely together. Some people will say, you know, the whips are first in on the morning, they put the lights on, and the last one's out at night. They are. And there's many a night where it's the whip, a couple of other people who will be the last ones in the chamber. Did
you have any challenges in the job? Because being the first female.
I never thought about it being the first female to do the job, conscious that I was. It was a tremendous honour to have that role, even though it wasn't for a tremendously long time. And would I do it all again? Of course I would. It was tough. It was relentless. It's just that sometimes where politics is, there was an awful lot going on at Westminster within our own party, some of which obviously is documented. But it was tough. Life often is, isn't it?
It is.
You know, and actually to be able to say, I can turn around and say, in my tenure as Chief Whip, we never lost a vote. So whatever I had to get through Parliament, we through Parliament.
Wow. So did you use the whip of yours?
That is a myth. That is a complete myth. So there are 2 whips on the presentation boxes. I did actually have one removed from the office as I didn't think it was appropriate. But that was my choice. But no, I never used the whip.
Because the name itself, exactly. Chief Whip, right?
Exactly. And that there's a whole. Sometimes I'd have to do a speech about the whip. There's so much history around it, and there's this view that the role of the whip comes from way back and hunting, and the whip was actually to bring everybody bring everybody together. So whether if you're hunting with dogs, yeah. But I mean, you know, I subscribe to that. Who knows? But it is an element of understanding the party, making sure that you actually can deliver what the Prime Minister of the day wants, or if you can't, how you have to then have that conversation with the ministers, the cabinet, and say, actually, this idea is not going to go down well with the backbenchers, and you've got to have your backbenchers on side. So then you're into the realms of negotiating to make sure it goes.
It's a very powerful position, right?
As it is a powerful position, but then you're a member of the cabinet. I was at the time when Queen had sadly passed away, and then the funeral, and Prince Charles became King Charles II. So that was a tremendous honour, and I'll never forget at the funeral of the Queen.
Yeah, I mean, I think when I met Penny Mordaunt, and she described how she got the outfit, that bit Vogue, that's where the true women empowerment came across when she shared the story of her outfit, because she went into Parliament, didn't she, without any black clothes, didn't know, and then when she found the Queen passed away, she put on a group, on MP's group, and everybody borrowed the whole outfit from head to toe, even the band, right?
Yeah, so her outfit for the coronation was absolutely stunning. But I think what you find on that point, which is probably something that only women would really think about. I don't know whether men put alcohol if they need a tie, but we, women's WhatsApp groups. I know with colleagues, if somebody needs something, you can often put a WhatsApp message out there, has somebody got this? And we'll all rally around one another and help one another out. But I remember, at the time of the passing of the Queen, I'd been advised to have an outfit in the office, and I'm very pleased I did that day.
Yeah, I mean, it was fascinating what you said when you told me that, and it was a great example of how, and wonderful for me to hear about women in Parliament supporting another woman, and she looked absolutely gorgeous.
She did.
And Vogue loved her headband, didn't they?
They did. The detail on it was really phenomenal. But the whole thing about women supporting women. So I have mentored a few women. There are some who want to be candidates who I'll help as much as I can. I also feel quite passionately that some of the support that we do in London as a party, we need to bring that out to the region. So which is why we have Conservative Women's Organisation for the West Midlands, who do I'll give them a shout out, because they do a lot of really work as well.
Absolutely.
And it's not just MPs, councillors, and local democracy, local politics. That's the bedrock really of everything.
Having worked in both as a local councillor and as a member of Parliament, what would you say were the biggest challenges, or what did you learn from all that?
In some ways, the roles are very, very different. But being a local councillor, you can actually achieve a lot at local level. But you're very, very much there locally all of the time, working as a community leader. But again, some similarities, some differences. You don't legislate in the same way at local level, but you're still making decisions on things that impact on people's lives, whether it's council tax or whether you might be sitting on the planning committee, you might be on the licensing committee, you might be on the children's committee, education committee. There are so many things that local government do that really cut into the heart and the lives of people and communities.
Excellent. So, I mean, one of the other roles is you work right in the heart of government, right? As a parliamentary secretary to the Treasury, how did you balance the demand of that job and also support your committee?
So, the title, Parliamentary Secretary to the Treasury, believe it or not, is the official title, it's a whip.
Okay.
So that was all one role. But irrespective of that role, or being a minister, there is always an element of juggling, and even for a backbencher, because the expectation is that in London, when Parliament is sitting, then we come to constituency when Parliament is not. So it often feels that, down to London, Parliament, come back to constituency, come back home. That is the way that it is. You're doing both. But I think it's important that as a Member of Parliament, don't lose sight and you don't lose touch with your constituency. So I'd like to think that that is what I do. The only judges of that are the people in the constituency. But just this morning I was out with some residents about planning application. Last night I was at the pantomime in Aldridge. So if any of your viewers are watching, Aldridge pantomime at the Aldridge Youth Theatre, Sinbad the Sailor was fantastic. And it was young people that were doing it.
Wow. So I might go have a look.
Exactly. But you see, I enjoy doing that as much as everything, as doing surgeries and everything else. And I'm fortunate I've got a great team.
It's great to hear that, because I think balancing your local voters, but also national government, it is a tough job, and your community demand a lot of time from you.
It is, and sometimes you can't be in two places at once. And you have to say, I can't go to that because I have to be in Parliament. We're voting legislation. Actually, that is what I'm voted to.
Yeah.
But I think now with communication with probably social media, everyone's in social media. But we as a politician, I can use that to show people what I am doing, stand up for them, and taking their issues right to the heart of Parliament. As a backbencher, I can do that. So I'm in a fortunate position. I'm a shadow minister, but because we're in opposition, I can also take on the role of a backbench and ask questions. And
reverse role, right?
So it literally is going from sitting on one side of the chamber to the other. And what
are the challenges that?
Making sure you're to the right side when the first time you go in. So that was a bit weird to begin with. And when we debates in Westminster Hall, and the first time I went in Westminster Hall as minister, I think I was on autopilot, and I was out to walk down the side of the whole tube, and then I thought, what do you need to go the other side? So it is very different. But the role of opposition, official opposition, is to hold the government to account, to ask questions, and to be an effective opposition. So that is what we're now focusing on and rebuilding our party.
Fantastic. So just to come back to your role as a shadow foreign minister, what are your main priorities and how do you hope to make an impact?
So as a shadow foreign minister, our main role is holding the government to account. My particular areas that I cover are international development, which I had done some of that prior to being there. I spent a lot of summers in Africa doing projects, and then it was part of my brief as a minister. So I do international development, global health, girls' education falls under that, some soft power element. The Africa brief, I cover some of the other territories.
Do you cover Bangladesh?
I don't actually, unless there was a humanitarian angle, but sometimes there obviously is.
Because there's a lot of problems happening in Bangladesh at the moment.
Very complex. Yeah.
It is complex, and with the change of government. Do you have any involvement in that at all?
I don't, because my brief doesn't cover area. Okay. I cover a bit of the Eastern European brief, but occasionally, perhaps if Shadow Foreign Secretary wasn't available, then I'm cover for her. But no, on the whole, I tend not to. But I'm very, very, very conscious of the issues. The elections, you now have the interim gov there, so I think everyone hopes that there will be stability.
Yes, I hope so, because the value of the economy is actually gone 10 years back, because Bangladesh was the fastest growing economy in the world, and now they've gotten 15 years back now, and it is a shame, but it's the public's choice, and there's nothing we can do about it at the moment. So yeah, let's see how it goes. Good luck to the new government. Well, if they form a new government as well from interim. So yeah, I will leave there because this is a big debate, and that could go on forever.
It could go on. Yeah. Yeah, really,
okay.
Really. It would actually deserve its own debate.
It does. It does. I think I'd have it with the foreign minister who could tell us more about it. So, what is your any particular policy that you're working on? You're passionate about taking forward?
I suppose in opposition, a big part of what we do is hold the government to account. We've recently had the general election, so our policy is being related. But I mean that we did have a good legacy in government and a lot of areas of foreign policy. Quite often on foreign policy, the government and the opposition agree on some key geographical issues. But again, it's important that we probe and we ask questions. But aside from that, recently I've done during quite a few debates in the House of Commons as Shadow Minister around women's issues, around, we had one debate on women, peace and security the other week in Parliament. So those are the topics that I have been covering. And actually just following what's going on often around women's rights, space for women in certain parts of the world. We can't influence everything. But sometimes it's about making sure, for example, that humanitarian aid is getting through to where it's needed, and that women and girls are being supported in their needs. And that's where I think the UK does have a voice. That's where I think we as opposition will continue to ask questions as well. The foreign policy brief is huge. Obviously, the situation in the Middle East. I think we're all hoping that the ceasefire holds.
I think there's a lot of debate. Is it going to stay, or is it going to after next week? So they can come back?
60 tomorrow, I think, is the
Hopefully,
timeline.
Yeah,
then we've got the situation in Ukraine. I've been to Ukraine. I went prior to war and then more recently, and then we've got other countries. So what often happens is,
because you did some work at women in Afghanistan.
I mentioned Afghanistan. So often what you see in news is when there's a crisis, a region is in the news, but then actually the other countries we've got issues sort of fall out of news. So Afghanistan doesn't get talked about very much at the moment, but actually the space there for women is getting harder and harder. And more recently, women had access to healthcare and medical needs. It was harder and harder to access. So I'm hoping that's something that can highlight in Parliament. And then there's the situation in Sudan that's really challenging there, the war and the getting of humanitarian through to where it's needed. So there are some big issues around the world, certainly on the humanitarian international development space. And then, of course, on Monday we've got Trump's inauguration.
Oh, yes.
So,
will you be visiting America, or?
Well, who knows? I'm not going to the inauguration though. I'm duty on Monday, so yeah. So I've just seen the pitch that the shadow foreign secretary is over there at the moment. But obviously, some people have different views on Trump. That's understandable. But the UK-US relationship is a critically important one, very, very special one.
Of course. I mean, I suppose it is. Relationship with all countries with the UK is important. I mean, I think the UK empire was all over the world. I think they'd ruled nearly every country, right?
Well, the UK certainly had a big footprint once upon a time. So the influence of the UK, it's quite widespread.
It is.
So whether I think our influence is slightly different these days, but that said, there are key bilateral relationships around the world that sometimes are worked on politically, and then the diplomatic service do their work as well. But it matters for relationships, for trade, for a whole host of things.
Excellent. Well, you do have a very busy agenda, especially hold government to account for some of the things that they're doing or not doing. It must be a stressful role as well.
Well, it's a role, and with the government, there's plenty of recently to hold their feet to the fire, so pensioners, farmers, small businesses.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about the pensioners because that's a sore point for me. Right. There's pensioners, and it is horrible to hear what happened with pensioners. So I don't want.
So there's all that piece of work. Is it stressful? That any job has its moments when you can get stressed. I suppose then the question is, what do you do to de-stress? And I used to do a lot of walking, running. I haven't time to run anymore. I'm too old now. I don't know if I can go as I used to.
You're so sleep.
But I quite like it outside, and you know, even walking, you know, from to the tube station and then in Parliament, walking around the patch, fresh air I think is good. But it was just nice to get in the car or hop on the train and come back home to Aldridge, and you know, and it's just calmer, it's quieter.
Aldridge, beautiful area. And do you feel that because of the work that your current councillor have done, that has, because Aldridge is the only place in the whole country that gained a Conservative seat, because everywhere else that lost it. What do you think?
So yeah, in the local elections in May, we did make gain. It was and then things didn't go quite as well afterwards. Unfortunately, we lost the mayoral. We lost Andy Street, who's fabulous mayor, and it's so passionate about the region. Then we had the general. Why does it work in Walsall as Conservatives? A lot of the time, I think it's because we work together. But I've got a really good team of councillors working incredibly hard. But that's the thing with when it comes to democracy. Sometimes there are some things, the tide is so big you can't turn it. I do believe in actually being out there, and it's no good just sitting at home. You need to actually stand your community, go out, and that's community leadership.
Absolutely.
You know, we've got some. I'm fortunate. I've got some great local councillors. I was out with one of them this morning, doing something in the community. I met up with the one, also ones yesterday. But I know that if I need to ask a question, I can WhatsApp them. So I do have a good relationship.
You've got big challenges in getting the transport sorted, haven't you?
Oh, so locally, so yes. So if I think about my local issues, then I need to work with my local councillors and vice versa. So. You know, I'm always going on about Aldridge train station and the fact that the mayor has the money. So I will keep campaigning to get that station. Andy had promised us it. I'm quite often going on about Aldridge police station, trying to make sure that isn't closed. But then the green belt. And you know, we do need homes in this country, but in the right place.
Yes.
And protecting the green belt is critical to everything that, you know, makes it what it is. It's about the wildlife, it's about the amenity, and that green belt was put there to prevent urban sprawl, to prevent communities like Streatley and Aldridge and others being almost subsumed into what I would class as a greater burden. So plenty to do, Fajli.
I know you do have a lot of work, and you know, I do not end your job at all. Now coming back to women empowerment. As we already mentioned that women are still underrepresented, right? In leadership positions, in politics, and you know, what do you think are the key barriers holding women back?
It's probably not one single one. I think sometimes, if I'm honest, we can hold ourselves back. That's confidence, and that's a part of my story. But that's when support for women and one another can make a massive difference. I think attitudes can and have held women back. You know, I talk about Parliament once described as a gentleman's club. I think it's changing. There's some industries that are often very, very male-dominated and male-orientated. Engineering is one of those, some elements of manufacturing. The rail industry, I saw that when I was rail minister. But there are women trailblazers who are breaking those glass ceilings. So when I was rail minister, whenever I went out on site, I would always say to my team, I want to meet some women. So whether it was a group of apprentices or I've met female train drivers, and to me that's important. And so I think in industry, so much is happening, so much is being done to change perceptions. I can flip its head, and I think there are some industries and sectors where men probably think that women dominate them, but you know, so probably work has to be done there. But certainly in the space of what is holding women back, I think historically some of it has been attitude and culture, some of it's probably been ourselves, but I think it's changing. But when you look around, there are some great role models in so many different industries, whether it's not just politics, it's law, the work that you do, Fajli, even a show like this, I would hope, encourages and inspires other women to think, actually, if she can do that, why can't I?
Absolutely. And that's one of the main reasons for the show as well. And it's also us having that confidence, because I think sometimes we don't have the confidence to go forward. And I want women to feel empowered to take that confidence, take that leap of faith, and believe in themselves. Because one of the things that we find that women don't always believe in capabilities.
I would agree on that point entirely. I think sometimes you also have to, you know, life can get in the way.
Yes.
You know, family, parental commitments, and often that has fallen on women. But I think now more sharing of those responsibilities. But I think, you know, the best, I'm not going to call it advice, the best tip I say to anybody, certainly in politics, is just keep going. Sometimes it takes time. It took me 3 attempts to get to Parliament. Is it
never
worth
give
it?
up.
Get up. Is it worth it? Absolutely. But that's life, isn't it? Because sometimes there are kicks and knocks along the way. Some people say, what is a saying? What doesn't harm you makes you stronger, or something.
What doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Exactly. I'm not entirely sure I subscribe to that, but I think there is that thing about sometimes it is about gaining confidence, and that comes from experience. I think as a woman, if you're overly confident, then people say, "Oh no, she's arrogant. She's this, and this," and people don't like that. There's getting the balance right.
Yeah, and on that point, actually, like you in those leadership positions, I mean, did you find it difficult asserting your messages as a leader, and getting people to listen to you? Do you find any barriers and obstacles?
I think sometimes the barriers are often on the journey, because sometimes when you have that position, you have that, I hate to say it, title that sometimes can help to a certain extent, but then you find some people maybe don't like it for a reason. But that's all part of the learning, isn't it?
Well, being assertive.
You know, it's being assertive without being aggressive.
Yeah, but
it's getting the balance right, isn't it? And so use all the tools in the toolbox, all the levers, to try and get the best out of the people that you work with, and to try to get where you want to, you know, position to where you want it to be, or the outcome that you want. But that's I would say that in every form of life.
Because I watch a lot of the politicians, and when I saw Theresa, I mean, like when you introduced Theresa, I absolutely loved it bits actually. But that vision of me seeing her in that car when she died, it broke my heart.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then there's this issue about Priti Patel. That was all over the media about her. But I suppose as a woman, when in that sort of a position, men feel threatening, right? Or
I think that's an interesting point. I think some men do find women threatening, which is where how far do you go? But I think best advice I was always given was be to yourself. I think that is important. No good trying to be someone that you're not. But there are certainly challenges along the way, and I think there are lots of things that test us. But it comes back to, can I dig deep? Have I got the resolve to get through? That's though when you often need really good friends, true friends around you. You can rely on who will support you in what you're doing.
And are there many friends in politics? Because they said that there's no friends in politics.
Some people say there are no friends in politics. I've lost a lot of friends as a result of elections. So I've got loads of people that I know in politics. There are some though who are friends. There are some I could pick up the phone to, and I think vice versa. There are some who after this set of elections I still keep in touch with. There are some that I spoke to afterwards. The key is when you're on downers, when you're having a bad time, who picks up the phone, rings you and says, "Are you all right?" That to me is a sign of a friend.
Absolutely, and I think they say that you get to know a true friend in your time of your need.
That's pretty right.
Yeah.
And in my world, the one I have learned is that you cannot control everything. Someone once said, "Don't try and control the uncontrollable." That's a fair point. But in politics, often doors do close.
Yeah.
But then you have to look, and the door will open. You might just wait.
Yeah.
And it might be a door you weren't expecting.
I know. And sometimes, like, maybe that door closing was an opportunity in disguise.
It could have been the right thing.
And I always say to, especially the young people I work with, is that if you knock on a door and it doesn't open, you keep on trying and trying. Go and create your own door. And so many people have gone into businesses because sometimes it's not always easy. And about, talking about women empowerment and women going forward, as a female myself, I mean, I've seen many obstacles and barriers. And you mentioned about Women in Rail. Now, I'm part of Women in Rail, and I was the first female director of a global 250 company that specializes in construction engineering. How many men are
in the industry?
As the first female, I was always white middle-class men. And that's one of the things I loved working with Andy Street that I mentioned, was that creating those leadership, inclusive leadership ambassadors. Because Andy's vision to make the West Midlands leaders more diverse, to represent the diversity of region, which I think at the moment, I'm not sure if that is going to be happening.
But we'll see what the new mayor makes of it, won't we? But I think on that point about going back to the doors, sometimes it's out, and maybe this is get more experience, that you have to know when it's worth knocking in.
Yes.
So sometimes that door closes, but it may be worth knocking again. Sometimes you know it's not worth knocking.
Yeah, but it's a resilience as well. Not giving up.
Exactly.
So what advice would you give to some of those young, aspiring women, young people who are looking to go into politics if they face sort of barriers?
Well, I would say, ask yourself, why do you want to do it? Just to say, I want to be a politician, I want a member of parliament, you need to really understand why you want to do it. Don't give up, keep going. I also think, though, it's important to have a career outside politics, because we've seen politics like a roller coaster. You can be in, you can be out. Yeah. And so you need something I need experience to be able to draw upon, for me to go back to. Now, that said, there are some MPs who are new to the House, make me feel very old. They're a lot younger. But they probably bring a different experience. So I'm not going to knock at anybody for doing it. But I do think long and hard, why do you want to do it? What do you want to achieve from it? And just remember sometimes that, small things can make a difference to people's lives.
Absolutely. So looking ahead, what is your long-term vision for Aldridge Brownhill and for the UK?
I think for the constituency, I will continue to focus on the things that so it's in my view, it's the best constituency. There are some really strong communities, but we need to continue to work on those. There are parts that are deprived, there are families that are struggling, but some of those key things are pushing to see if we can get the train station, keeping services, keeping the police station, getting our fair share to make sure we're on the periphery of the Midlands Combined Authority. I don't want to be forgotten about. Things like the train station matter because that's about opportunity for people, so that they access employment, access university. So that matters. But then also, yes, we need homes, we need houses for people, but they need to be in the right place. So that's why protecting the green, but protecting what makes the countryside and our area what it is, and making we don't just become consumed into a greater burden. Those are some of my things. But I think community leadership is a big part of it. So I'll continue to do my best and do what I do.
Fantastic. So beyond politics, what legacy would you like to leave as a leader, as a woman, and also as an inspirational woman?
You see, I just sit and I this is midnight, but I just think I hope that I inspire people. I would never go out and say, I'm an inspiration to people. This is my journey. This is my story. My view is the journey is not over yet. I still to continue where that takes me. You never know in life. I want to continue to do my bit to represent my constituency, to strengthen that, to, as I set out. But I think also play my part in rebuilding and re-energising our party, Conservative Party, and do my bit actually in Parliament. Because actually I do think I am deeply proud of A, being a Conservative, B, being a Member of Parliament, and C, part of the UK, being part of Great Britain. Not necessarily in that order, I'd put them all equal in many ways. Well, otherwise I get picked apart here. But so those things really matter to me. The values that we have as a country. So I will continue to do my best, because it's about public service, being a politician. And that's the other thing that people shouldn't forget. It is public service.
Absolutely.
It's not 9 to 5, Monday to Friday.
No, it's 24/7, isn't it? Yeah. Well, I hope my viewers are actually enjoying what they are hearing as well. And as I said, this is the first show in the New Year's, and we're going to get a quick break now. And after this break, we will come back, and there is going to be a cake cutting ceremony. So you are watching us on Beyond TV UK on Empowerment Show, and I hope you will come back and don't miss this opportunity to see how the next episode of some of the inspirational messages you'll be getting. So I'll see you in a few minutes.
I'm Fajli, the host of Empowered Women Show, a show designed to inspire, empower, and raise your aspiration. I will be introducing inspirational women from the biz world, from the community, from the media, fashion industry, women who have overcome many obstacles and barriers on their journey to success. Watch me Beyond TV.
Midland Law Solicitors are specialists in immigration and family law. Our solicitors have over 10 years' experience in these areas of law. We work with experienced immigration former tribunal judges and family specialists. We are open Monday to Friday and also offer weekend appointments to our clients. Feel free to give us a call today to book in a consultation. Accident and Injury Associates. Win no fee. Make the right choice. One of the best service providers in the UK. 25 years a partial service provider. Offers replacement vehicles nationwide. Complete accident management solutions. Contact us 0714 700 252 0121 28 2929 or email accidentinjury@live.co.uk.
আরামদায়ক টেকসই এবং সুলভ মূল্যে ব্যাড ম্যাট্রেস অটোমেন বক্স কিংবা ওয়ার্ডরোব কিনতে আর কোথাও যেতে হবে না। এখন আমরা বাঙালি বার্মিংহামে আপনাদের পছন্দ মতো কোনো সাইজের যে কোনো ডিজাইন কিংবা কালার ব্যাড ম্যাট্রেস অটোমেন বক্স কিংবা ওয়ার্ডরোব তৈরি করে থাকি।
চলে আসুন মুনলাইট ফার্নারে। আমরা বার্মিংহামের ইয়ার্ডলির জাজুম মনিরা মসজিদের ইউনিটে আছি। ম্যাট্রেসের পাশাপাশি বেড কিংবা হেডবোর্ড কিনেও কালার, ডিজাইন, সাইজ পছন্দ করা যাবে। সঙ্গে সর্বনিম্ন মূল্য দেওয়ার নিশ্চয়তা, হোম ডেলিভারির ব্যবস্থা।
আমরা বাংলাদেশি প্রতিষ্ঠান বাংলায় কথা বলি। রয়েছে ফ্রি কার পার্কের সুবিধা।
মুনলাইট ফার্নিচার, রিল্যাক্স এন্ড কমফোর্ট। জাজুম মনিরা জামে মসজিদ ইউনিট 6, ফ্রান্সিস রোড, ইয়ার্ড, বার্মিংহাম, B25 8HP।
ফোন 07341 357 877 অথবা 07438 499 815।
Midland Law Solicitors are specialists in immigration and family law. Our solicitors have over 10 years of experience in these areas of law. We work with experienced immigration former tribunal judges and family specialists. We are on Monday to Friday and also offer weekend appointments to our clients. Feel free to give us a call today to book in a consultation.
Hello, I'm Fajli Bibi, the host of Empowered Women Show, a show designed to inspire, empower and raise your aspiration. I will be introducing inspirational women from the business world, from the community, from the media, fashion industry, women who have overcome many obstacles and barriers on their journey to success. Watch me on Beyond TV.
Hello and welcome back. You're watching us on Beyond TV UK, this Empowered Women Show, and I'm in an interview with dear friend, Right Honourable Wendy Morton MP, and you can see some people here with me. As I said, this is our first show for the New Year's. There will be a cake cutting ceremony, and we're here. Just before we start the cake cutting, I would like to finish with a final message from Wendy to our viewers. Wendy, what message would you like to give to our viewers before we close?
I think my message to any woman out there, if you want something, just keep going. Life can be tough, but certainly in politics, don't ever give up and have the confidence just to give it a try.
Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us. We are honoured to have you here today, and for me it's great because you started my new year with starting our first show for the new year as well. Your story is really powerful, and it's a reminder of how resilience, determination and courage to move forward. So I hope our viewers have learned a lot from hearing about the roles that you played and also some of the challenges, because it's not an easy job, right? So to my viewers, I'd like to just finish with a reminder that your dreams are valid, your dreams and goals are achievable, and remember your strength is limitless. In the face of adversity, embrace your unique journey and your passion make your passion your light for greatness. And I hope you have learned some nuggets and lessons from Wendy's journey, inspirational journey. And I look forward to seeing you all at the next Empowered Women show on Beyond TV. If you have a story to share with us, please get in touch with us on 0121 257 7007. And I'd like to thank the whole of the Beyond TV team for making this show a success. Without them, we would be able to bring this great message to you. And also, Wendy, thank you so much again for coming to my viewers. Thank you so much for joining us. And I look forward to seeing you again very soon. So, until next time, keep on shining, be empowered, and always, always start journey and never give up. See you next time. With that, we're going to start to cut the cake. So, with that, Wendy, I'd like to welcome you. So it says, welcome to Beyond TV UK. So this is our New Year celebration cake. So with us, we've got my friend Aston. She is also a presenter of Beyond TV. We've got Sean, who is the chief executive of Beyond TV UK. Yeah. And here, my brother, because he has his own, half man actually. He runs a newspaper called Bangla Kagaz. Okay. He's also a presenter. Wow. If you want anything in the papers, he's the man. And then we've got brothers here who are all part of our Beyond TV team. And without them all, we wouldn't be here today.
No, I've really enjoyed being here today. Thank you, Fajli.
Thank you all. So,
just give you some flowers on behalf of Beyond TV. Thank you very much.
They're beautiful. Thank you. That's very nice.
So shall we cut the cake?
Well, I think we should do it together.
Yes.
Yes.
Come, join us.
Come on. Who's going to join us?
Come on.
This is women's empowerment. Sorry, gentlemen. There we are.
Wow, thank you.
There we go. Fantastic.
Thank you so much, Wendy.
Thank you.
And thank you to our viewers. And we look forward to seeing you soon. I'm sorry we couldn't have the cake with you. We will be enjoying the cake now. Until next time, have a good night.
Hello, I'm Fajli.
Thank you.
Thank you.
A show designed to inspire, empower, and raise your aspiration. I will be introducing inspirational women from the business world, from the community, from the media, fashion industry, women who have overcome many obstacles and barriers on the journey to success. Watch me on Beyond TV.
Midland Law Solicitors are specialists in immigration and family law. Our solicitors have over 10 years of experience in these areas of law. We work with experienced immigration, former tribunal judges and family specialists. We are open Monday to Friday and also offer week appointments to our clients. Feel free to give us a call today to book in a consultation.